everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be trying to do what feels impossible in best of one, and that is play blue-white control straight up, kind of like here we are. We're gonna fight it out, you know. But what are we trying to do in this deck? Well, we're trying to play a different variety, I guess, of counterspells and removal to kind of answer most situations while playing some stronger top-end stuff to get the game closed when we have the opportunity to do so. Our counterspell package being the 3 steps ahead, No More Lies, and Spellgyre here. I'm not on 4 No More Lies because Cavern of Souls exists, and Cavern of Souls makes this card dead, whereas these other 7 here do have value outside of just being a counterspell. So we're not stuck with drawing too many No More Lies in the dead spot, or drawing them late in the game, and our opponent has 9 lands, so this doesn't typically end up mattering. So went down on that, playing these, and that's our counterspell package. And then we go into our removal outside of board wipes. What are we doing? We have 3 Get Lost, the kind of namesake card in any type of control list. Just answers so much. The only real downside is giving your opponent maps, which can sometimes be a draw 2, can sometimes be 2 counters, and now we have to kill that other creature as well. But that is where Not On My Watch comes in, where we can exile a attacking creature, or with Soul Partition, we can exile a non-land permanent. That matters quite a bit in most scenarios. The only thing it can't necessarily hit is a creature land, because it does specify a non-land permanent. Does not write them out like other effects do, so you can target anything, essentially. Aside of that, we have a lot of board wipes. We are on Sunfall, Day of Judgment, and Temporary Lockdown. I talk about it quite a bit, but the big problem in Control is dying in between Temporary Lockdown and Sunfall. So if you don't find a lockdown and you only have Sunfalls in your hand, because you're playing 4, of course, you oftentimes can die there if like the removal's a little too slow, a little too wacky. But now with Day of Judgment, we can slot a board wipe in between and go down on Sunfall. So even if we miss a temporary lockdown where we would have drawn a Sunfall in general, we have a chance to replace that with a Day of Judgment to wipe the board as well. And here is maybe the controversial pick, but hopefully I can explain why enough that you see why I'm playing Think Twice over Deduce. Because Deduce overall is 4 mana for 2 cards at instant speed, and this is 5 mana for 2 cards at instant speed. But there's a couple of situations when you're playing Control that I like Think Twice in a bit more. One being if we have max hand size and we have to discard a card, we can always get rid of Think Twice and we don't lose that card's value. Or on turn 2 where we can think twice or deduce on our opponent's end step. If that is leading directly into a temporary lockdown where we would lose the clue token, we no longer lose that because we can always cast Think Twice later on our opponent's end step instead of losing that second draw. So I kind of like this card a bit more than Deduce. Just kind of my opinion. Obviously, if you like Deduce more, play Deduce here. Other than that, we are on 2 Jaces instead of what I've seen in control lists on 4. We have 2 Teferis and we have 1 Herald of the Eternal Dawn. This is just my opponent can't win the game. I cannot lose the game. And it helps us in the matchups where we're like, you know what? We're like at 3. I'm sick of countering lightning strikes. Like, I'll go -10 if I have to. So this is what this card is for. And after the game 1 that you'll see, we could have lost to decking, so that's pretty cool. But outside of that, this is our deck list. We're going to run it down. We're going to see how it goes. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel a ton. And let's go see if we can control the meta. We're first. We have a lockdown ready to go and quite the amount of removal. So we'll definitely keep a hold of this for sure. We'll surveil right away. Another land, not awful. We're a deck that craves lands. Boros, don't know what that'll be. Obviously, kind of to some extent hoping aggro, but we'll see. Just barreling of demand answers, huh? Just will cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact, discard a card. If we would have countered that, we'd have been very happy. I'm not entirely sure that I care to remove much. I will just go ahead and establish this. We could have waited a turn, but I think just getting something progressively going is better. Still dodges things like Brothers in, not entirely sure. Okay. Are you killing my Jace? Which didn't take spells. They go face. They do not care. This could be a protection spell, so it's something we have to worry about. We do get to kind of wait. These lands proving right now to be incredible for us, obviously. We target here. We serious? Here? You wanted to counter me? Alright. That's fine. You wanted to counter me making it starting power 0. Which it would have gotten better anyway. Okay. Sure. Exile. So that's 2 Screaming Nemesis down. Of course. And now I think I'm definitely in, like, I want to draw a couple cards here. 2 creatures and a monstrous rage. Fantastic, you know what I mean? Now we just kind of pass. We'll most likely demo field one of these Restless, if it comes to that. Still no counterspell, which is frustrating to see 2 mana discard 2. Like, we wait to remove this. We want to wait until we can plus on it with Teferi. And who knows? Or Jace. I keep saying Teferi. Jace plus target. No protection there. Okay. And then we can remove it now because it doesn't have any power or toughness, but we can also let it stick around. We have too many removal spells to panic now, especially with how good temporary lockdown will be once they kind of do this. Here. No. I will lose my land before I let that happen. I lose it regardless, right? So it's like, hey, counterspell, welcome to the game. I'm just gonna keep plusing on this thing. I guess I could have locked down, but they might use both these maps. One reason I don't really like Get Lost is because, like, this map value is now too good. Or they go straight to combat. Who knows? Sure. We just. All right. Here. Sure. Sure. Huh. Oh, you didn't want to activate that map, brother? Well, since you don't want to activate the map, I'll help you out. We'll take all the value. Now we're gonna try to draw.
No secret.
Sure. A second counterspell. Now we're missing that land. This is what I was talking about earlier. How we are, like, technically a land craving deck for sure. Where is this going? Here. Here. Jace will do fine at 1. Here's a land. Plus.
Become subdued.
The only real issue we're having right now is they do technically have a land that can attack, so they always have, like, a value game to play for this. Shelter by Ghost. Here. And then they'll go to protect and we'll counter the protection spell. Or we won't. Sure. Another land. Shelter by Ghost gone. That's fair. Yeah. Not my Jace. Here. Jace is dead. This is where we need to find a Teferi. Let's draw 2. Okay. Take another. We'll just get rid of the bounce line or tap line. That's a creature. I guess arguably should just spin this Could have been the opposite, right? I just clicked one, to be honest with you. Yeah, so we're off. I have a think twice. I can double draw here. Or I can counter this and draw anyway. Definitely you go for this. If Judgment can go. This Teferi going to be our massive step up in the game. Take our little dude.
Who's that handsome devil?
See what happens here. Now they can bring up the land and attack, which causes a little bit of problems, obviously. Where we going? Okay. Let's normalize that. Unable to pay. Probably should have just drew with Teferi. Now this is happening. Yeah. Sure. We're literally just losing to a land when we play 4 demo fields. Like, we literally have 4 demolition fields and we just can't find a land. That we can't find that land specifically. Sure. Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure. Threatening the counterspell. The damage is fine. They haven't shown any burn in their top 30 of their library, so I don't think there is any. Hey! A card we need. Nice. Now we just wait. Wait for them to activate before we target it to remove it. We don't let it become a creature first. But yeah, we're halfway through our decks. Definitely a grindy game. But you want to remove it here so they can't target it with the protection spell. They would have to bring it up again and then target it with the protection spell, which is what they might do. But then we have the counter spell for that. Sure. No, sir. So, we gotten through that, so that's pretty good. We're having a good time, right? We're having a good time, right, team? Surveil land. Okay. Surveil. Sure. Guess we just hold this land. We know we want that card on top, so. What do we got? Challenger? Sure. Free target off that. Fine. Okay. Come up. This is our protect our life total card. Uh-huh. I'm not gonna find a counter spell when they put this demand answers on the stack, huh? Okay. Sure. Thanks. You convinced me to block more. Like, what? Yeah, I'll block, yeah. Lockdown. Pick that up as well. We do have like a one of bullet in our deck that is just like a perma answer. I'm gonna hold our 3 steps ahead. We have to hold that as a counter spell. And we have that demo field ready to go. Sunfall right now not finding any value. It's gonna be hard to find value. Oh boy. A copy of an artifact or creature. We don't have none of that. They didn't play anything last turn, so we're just gambling that this is fine. The land right now I definitely don't need. I don't need more lands, you know. This could be used to counter. Okay, yeah. Both of those are actually good. Well, I guess this isn't necessarily that good, but it's just like it can cause problems potentially I will play a card that says I will not lose the game, and I will just hit them with my flyer over and over again until they die. I'm fully prepared for this. I haven't played Control in a while. We're kind of stuck here now. Think twice. Thinking twice. Thinking again. All right. There's Dead Judgment. Now our hand's getting quite up there. I guess I could probably cast this right now, right? Yeah. Sure. And there's a Fountainport, which is actually a great cast for us because now we can start making dudes or whatever we want to do. Yeah. Make a fish. Have a fish now. And in 20 turns, my opponent will be dead. I don't know if I'm willing to do it that aggressively, but I will sit here and we will play this game. I have 17 cards. And I have counter spells for their removal. Thankfully, I finally have this counter spell. I can just counter the stupid demand answers that they've been barreling nonstop. They've just been getting away with it. Make a fish. Some people say play Merrick's. I'm not about that, dude. I'm in there. Next. We're in. It's gonna be the last card in my deck, isn't it? The card that says I can't lose the video game. I believe. Welcome to Control. Do I make one more token? I guess I have to make one more. It turns the clock up by a turn, which is important enough. I'm at 8. I will no longer activate the Fountainport in terms of making dudes. And I don't like losing the 2 Boros Charms as is, but you never know. Nice. Twice. Think twice. Okay. My turn. There's 3 dudes. They're in. Here's his land. I'll say go. Don't you worry. Combat. Here. I'm figuring it out, dude. Also, if I could just Jace smell them, by the way. I just realized that is an opportunity card I have. We hit them for 3. They go to 5. Hit them for 3. So in theory, I shouldn't technically make another one, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Tough one. Sure. This is all fun. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Honestly, I'm gonna take the card draw. I know it's like absurd to think, oh, why would we need more cards? We always need more cards. Oh, like that. That's a good reason to find more cards. It just dug us to this. Done. Here for 5. Here. Mill 15. Okay, well, we have gone through 4 timeouts. And the game didn't even let me do it. Boy, oh boy. All that for 1 point. And honestly, I hadn't played Control in a while. So, like, the pacing and the tempo and, like, waiting was... It felt a little weird. Like, it honestly felt weird to play again. But, yeah. Nice. Opponents first. This is only a white source. But realistically, our hand's fine. Should be fine. Especially if it's aggro. But we'll see. is indeed aggro. Seachrome Coast down. Always want to lead off on these just in case, you know? You never know. Tell me I'm queuing up against dinos right now? I'm my hero, bro. No way. Four drop's gonna suck. I will say that. There's a 4 drop that has like Ward 2. Alright, that we're fine with. Temporary lockdown does not answer that, but I can always just like, you know, Soul Partition it. Oh, Day of Judgment's not even a good like little tidbit here. So I'm actually gonna do something a little weird. I think I'm gonna I have no idea. I think I pass. I want to walk them into making my Day of Judgment really good, but I think if I bounce this, then I get one less creature, right? Like, because it won't play, they'll just replay this if they have another land. But if I, yeah. Good thing most of our counter spells do draw cards, besides 3 of them. But a lot of times they're not just a Dinos deck, which weird matchup to play against. I haven't played against Dinos in so long. Sure. Now I have a decision to make. I guess I just exile it. Like, I don't want them to have the option to replay it. Here. Who knows? Maybe they'll have, well, they only have red open. These lands are great, but man, seeing this does suck, obviously. Like, our opponent's in, like, that weird spot where it's just almost good enough. Let's go ahead and lock down here. Just absorb these while lockdown's good. Lockdown's not going to be good against, like, the rest of their deck. As we just saw, we had exile a 3 mana 6/6, and then we'll surveil. Yeah. Demo Field, probably, like, okay of a card, but we still have 2 more land drops to make, and one of them has incredibly high versatility, so we're fine. They might also play fight spells, which will matter when we play the creature that cares about, like, staying alive, the 6/6. So we'll probably have to, like, body some things. Now, a card that's obviously hard to beat, and we really rely on it to just die, will be, like, an Atali, if that's what they're on. Or even, like, the Naya one. But we haven't seen white represented yet. Here's 3 mana. They're trying to make sure both caverns stay up. Okay. They're making sure green is available that they can use on this frill back. Now, they could have used cavern twice, but their land's still unlocked, so it doesn't do anything. Do I tap out for Sunfall here? I mean, probably. Here, and I guess I don't get to hold up Day of Judgment. I don't get to hold up Soul Partition after anyway, so might as well Sunfall. Next turn, I could Day of Judgment, bring this up, and hit them for 3, I guess. Here. Yeah, maybe not the best thing in the world, obviously. Bring this up. We can now attack. Here. Plus, might just be riding this Jace to victory. Especially if we find a second one, just mill like a massive chunk of their deck. The rail line. If they leave on top, we definitely hit the minus on Jace. Okay, maybe we don't. Alright, sweet. We do have a Day of Judgment for this, so it's not necessarily like we're out a ton. And then we still get the plus to Jace, so we have a Get Lost ready. Okay, fantastic. I mean, I could. Maybe they would, but I'm not even gonna. What's plus here? 7 for 21 currently. So we're about at half of their deck right now. A little under, of course. Last land. Now that their lands are unlocked, I will start demoing these caverns. Especially if I find another demo. And the reason why that matters so much is because if I can get these caverns gone and they don't end up finding another, our counter spells then become good, and Tully's not that big of a threat. But we only have 2 more demo fields in our deck because we did bin one earlier on a surveil. So it's kind of like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. But I will mill to start drawing. Maybe we can find another planeswalker. And there was a cavern on top, so thankfully we did mill there. Do I want to cast this Think Twice? No, I just want to keep representing. 40 cards. A card that we will absolutely kind of use a Soul Partition on, I guess. Want to hold the Get Lost for Natali so they can't flip it and then one-shot me. Things we have to know when we're playing against our matchups. Think Twice comes up. Other reason I don't, like, I'm happy to play Think Twice in this deck. 1, cool art. Like the art a lot. Second of all, the situation I was talking about previously where it's like, temporary lockdown is kind of annoying in that spot. But we're down to 3 here that can technically Carnosaur it. Creature or Planeswalker, that comes back up. That's fine. We can Soul Petition it again. Maybe I'll find another source. Let's fire this off. Let's not reveal our entire hand if I don't have to. Yeah, I mean, this has to go, right? We cannot allow it to live. 36. And cast another Think Twice. Surveil land, a Surveil land. Let's look and see if this card's even what we want. Temporary lockdown, definitely not needed here. Soul Partition and 3 steps ahead definitely means we just plus. Now, obviously, they do have a cavern online, but we have to remember this only for dinos. I didn't even look earlier if that other one was named on dino, if they didn't name it on something else, which I doubt it. Typically, you're not playing a dinosaur deck if you're not just doing, like, the thing, right? Again, another situation where if they leave on top, we will mill them with Jace and draw a card. That's the thing about Surveil lands. Sometimes you have to kind of bait and hope it's enough. They definitely left on top. Or they can play another Carnosaur, and it won't matter. Because I haven't milled many of those, I don't believe. Yeah, I've just done 1. Sure. Triangle Throwback. Not the greatest in the world here. Definitely can gain some life. Should only be 2 modes, right? Exile Graveyard, gain 4 life. Yeah, so obviously we'll cast our Think Twice again. Another Jace. Okay. What, 4 for 12? We'll allow it. It's a land, sure. We're actually okay with this to an extent. That makes our Jaces a little bit better. 2 lands. Okay, we have 1 card we have to worry about. So I have what? I have 15 plus 12 for 27, and they have 33. So I have a little bit of time I need. So we'll Soul Partition that. Not necessarily the best card I've ever seen, but another Soul Partition on top. We can always draw it and bounce. So we now have 30 cards ready to be wheeled out of the game, which is definitely what we're going to prioritize doing here. And then we'll make them kill us in 3 turns. Trample Haste, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, also does it to other things. Again, we have it covered, technically. We'll do this. We'll do draw 2. And then we'll get rid of the No More Lies. Or, no, it's gotta be No More Lies. Pick it up. Is there 1-up protection spell? I haven't seen it. Alright, that comes down. Now we get to counter this. Because they only have 1 cavern from before, the land can go. 32 land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You click.
I pull 1 thread, and your entire mark.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I will keep watch.
And just like that, they have 2 cards to figure it out. And I get to play this and keep up and get lost. So,
No matter the time
make
or
it 2-2.
place, I'm ready to win.
Go ahead.
I've got eyes everywhere.
Sure. Yep. Huh. Yeah. Flux. The only out they have is pumping, and then we just remove it. And just like that, I mean, we get the game out of the way. 1 card left in their deck. Like, I can't think of a card that we lose to. But yeah, 2 games in. My video time says 30 minutes. This is why sometimes I don't understand when people are like, Control is my favorite deck to play on ladder. And I'm like, I get it. I understand. You want to control the game. But wow, did I not play red earlier today and play 3 games in 6 minutes? I've played 2 games in 30. All right, so we're on the draw. This is... All right, we're on the play. We have a lot of draw, and we have temporary lockdown, which this hand's like definitely questionable on the draw, is where I was getting with that. But here's blue-white. Last thing I want to do is play the mirror. And our opponent is Simone, which I don't know. I don't know of a Simone player that would play control. Never be me. See blue-white land, and we come to a halting stop. Temporal is obviously a great draw. Our opponent figuring out what 1-mana creature they want to play. Arena, can I get a timer? Please. This is turn 1. And I was gonna say this is turn 1, and I played 2 games for 30 minutes. I just went out. Get a draw. We have temporary lockdown. We really hope that it's just like land play 2 creatures here. Our temporary lockdown's good. Seems not to be that case. Seems to not be the case. Sure. You gonna pump that thing or what? No. Okay. Play another high claw, please. Okay. Fine. I should tell you I have no counter spell. I should have done this with a Heartfire Hero on the stack, so maybe they would have been kind of baited into doing it. But yeah, I mean, I think there's no other better spot than right here to temporary lock down this board, because if they have a protection spell, obviously now it's dead. Lockdown comes in, takes that away. They could play land, play Shelter by Ghost, but then we have Day of Judgment after. So walking 1 board wipe into another against these decks is obviously very, very good. I could hold that counterspell up, but I'd much rather surveil here. Basically know what our next draw is. Just play as though we have more cards in hand. And, I mean, who's going to say no to 3 counterspells? Not me. If it is burn, we're going to probably let quite a bit of it resolve until we're roughly at 9. And then we'll have to kind of start fighting back, because we're trying to win the hand advantage there. Right now, we're kind of equaled up at 5 and 5. But it's now their turn. Demolition Field is here to blow up their land. I did leave on top, so if they want to kind of force me to do that, we have to wait till it attacks, so they cannot protect it. Hopefully that's what they go for. That'd be great. I don't want to have to try to remove it later. But let's see. Yep, in the tank. Who knows? I could have a counter spell. Or even worse. I don't know what worse is. The other thing too with the surveil land, even though like right now, like we're okay with taking the 3 steps ahead, there's also a situation where, okay, so little mistake, not even a mistake. It's a fine play. A play for us is good here is we could have potentially made a mistake. You do not let that become a creature first. I know I talked about it before where, oh, we need to make it attack first. You just don't even let it become a creature. You can just do it right away. And then what you get out of that is Now they can't bring it up regardless. Now they're stuck with the red. A second Day of Judgment. Maybe not the best draw in the world, but like it is aggro. They do play probably the mouse that splits. It's the most common version of this deck. The one that's 2 mana that has Offspring. So like the Day of Judgments will be fine, but there's no caverns in their list, so we can just counter it from here. And we're looking to basically either drag into a really long late game or a situation where like our opponent decides that they don't want to play with us anymore, or they win. That could definitely still happen, obviously. Now we did find a good card here, but no way I'm playing it until like turn 7 whenever I can hold this up, or at least we find 7 mana, not necessarily even turn 7. Demand Answers is something here I'll definitely counter. Because apparently that's a... First Lightning kicked for 4 damage. I will go to 14. There are creatures that deal significantly worse than that will. But Burn is kind of the harder version of the deck to face because it does do that, right? Just every end step, it's kind of just like, hey man, I heard you like gaming. And I'm like, you heard right, but you could stop gaming on me, please. We do this. We've been a Day of Judgment right now. We find a land, thankfully. And there's our angel, to say the least. Nothing like flashing in a 6/6 flying that I can't lose the game against aggro. But they do have the burn spells that can do it, like Burst Lightning Kicked, and then maybe a Lightning Strike, Double Helix, things like that, right? So we do have to be somewhat careful. We could bait them into a spell here, but I definitely want to find the land more than anything. And if they kick, we can always No More Lies. 2 lands. I'll let a Seachrome Coast go, just because I don't want to flood in a spot like this. Think Twice is also here. I'll just hold on to Think Twice, because we might just be discarding it here. Yeah, we're over hand size now. Next, go. And I guess Day of Judgment can go. It's an interesting spot. They might allow me to No More Lies something here. Do I? Well, I guess No More Lies doesn't really counter that, so that's okay. I'll discard. I know No More Lies does technically tend to be the worst here, but we get rid of Think Twice. Another good part about Think Twice is that scenario right there, right? They have double burn. I don't know. We'll see. You have a way to deal with this. This also allows us to play Teferi, make a dude if 2 burn spells go upstairs on that card. Nothing? Okay, well, we got our game. We got our game plan. We know where we are. Here is 6. Pass. I'll go negative life. I'll prove a point. Because the other thing is, let's do something sick here. Let's do this. With 2 mana, you can figure out what you want to do here. I have 2 of these. Discard a basic island. You have the normal art. This is why you play the alternate art. So whenever you copy it, you can make the other one. Here's 12. And I can go as negative as I want. It just does not matter, actually. Because the best part about these cards is I can be negative 4 billion. And you can be negative 1. And I win. It is kind of funny. Like, it is like a funny thing that can happen. But yeah, very cool. I mean, fighting against aggro a couple of times and coming away with the win is actually really good. We just let it resolve. We just hold our counter spell for like somehow these both dying or something. We have an exile and attacking creature. We have a Soul Partition, and we have lethal on the board. I just like let the 2/2 resolve that can't do anything to my flyers. Well, I mean, that's a card, I guess, but this is a Demoralize, so. I guess Shelter by Ghost is a way to like exile a token. Sure. Could have a protection spell, so obviously we don't fudge. Land. Now, if they want to Shelter by Ghost again, they have to use a white. It's their only out here. There you go. And we're just not gonna let him have any fun. No fun. At worst case, they kill both. We just Soul Partition our creature and then we play it again later. My turn. Then we go to combat and we attack. I'm trying to be quick about it for you. Yep. Very cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else. It actually felt really good. It felt clean. We got a lot of draws. We have kind of like what feels like the right amount of board wipes. Obviously, you know, I've played very few matches because that's kind of what it requires, but it is what it is. So let's just hop right in and let's talk about some of the decisions we made. This is definitely a deck overall. Like, a control is always this weird deck where like one day you play it, it could be incredible. The next day you play the exact same list and you're like, why do none of my cards work anymore? I don't get it. But yeah, you can definitely tell my mindset going in as I had 3, I have 5, I have 6, 7 board wipes overall, and I have a lot of different variations of removal in the deck, and I have different types of counter spells for different types of situations when it kind of comes in here. So like we can kind of talk about like a little bit here if you want to talk about like different variants of cards. Like right here are kind of awkward cards and then our weird like bullet card. But we have obviously 3 steps ahead to do a lot of different things, as you saw in that last game where we kind of made a copy of this, or we counter a spell, or we can just like use it as a draw if our opponent plays a cavern. And we have No More Lies. I did not want to stack up on this card because games when they kind of go late, as you saw, even against red, like they became a dead draw because they just end up having 7, 8, 9 lands, and their cards are so cheap that you can't get it underneath that, right? And this is strictly a counter spell. Outside of countering a spell, this does nothing. It is discard fodder to like a 3 steps ahead, right? Other than that, we have this, which is a little bit worse, in my opinion, than like a 3 steps ahead. But it works. It does the job. We do get to surveil 2 and to draw 2. But general consensus is you typically run it like this. But I think this is a bit more of a best of 3 variation where I wanted to go down on No More Lines because we have a lot of removal to keep us in the game, even if we don't counter that early creature or are on the draw. We can play this on 2, counter like a Monstrous Rage or something like that. And then we can lead into our Temporary Lockdown, things like that. So then this comes in. This is a better late game card for us because it is a Surveil 2, Draw 2 cards if they have a Cavern, or we can find it countering a spell very easily. Other than that, we're pretty much a white deck throughout the rest, other than Think Twice and kind of our top end here, where we have Temporary Lockdowns to act as our early game board wipes. This matters a lot. And then Day of Judgment, a nice 4 mana, just destroy all creatures, just what we really needed in the slot, because the problem was typically the gap between here, if we didn't find a Temporary Lockdown, and here was so high, and then you would typically be on 4 of this and no Day of Judgments. So it was just like, if you didn't see Temporary Lockdown between these 2 spells, you would die. But now we can slot in 2 Day of Judgments, and the cases of like, we missed Temporary Lockdown, we have a Sunfall in hand. Well, we didn't draw a second Sunfall, hopefully, right? Because it's a 1 in whatever chance after that to draw that Sunfall, where we can potentially have the Day of Judgment instead, right? So that's definitely an interesting like case study on that. And then we have Get Lost, not on my watch. Just, we know the creatures need exiled, so we exile them. Get Lost is my least favorite card in Control that we have to kind of play, but it is here. Makes maps. I think I played Boris Burn today, and my opponent Get Lost to the creature, and then they died to that creature because it became like a 3/4 Swiss Spear. It just started out as a generic 3/4, like, and then I started putting prowess on it. So good card, kind of a necessity to play. I just hate giving my opponent map tokens, which is why we are on 3 temporary lockdowns instead of like a 5th copy of one of these cards. But then we have Soul Partition and another type of exile, kind of a time walk thing where we can just say, hey, you know what? I'll deal with that permanent later. You put that back up top. Like, I don't want to touch it anymore. And then the Think Twice is, of course, I played this over Deduce. They're both just a draw card. And then Deduce, you can argue, is a little bit better than Think Twice because Deduce makes a token. But if I Think Twice and then I temporary lockdown, Deduce didn't do anything. Or if I have max hand size, I can discard a Think Twice, which I think makes Think Twice have a little bit more value in our games. I could be wrong, but I do like playing Think Twice. Also, I like the art more. Other than that, we are in the top end. Most control lists I've been seeing are on 4 Jace. I'm sorry, having more than 1 Jace in my hand at any point makes me very upset. So I decided to play a more expensive Planeswalker. But realistically, if the board's empty, and what I mean by that is like having a Jace on play and having it on 4, 5, or 6. Like, I don't want to play the other Jace. I don't want to just mill them because I can, because then that puts our mana down, right? So for us, I'd much rather have a Jace and then draw a Teferi or something. And Teferi, I've been a big advocate that this card is kind of crazy in control, especially when you get like extra card draws and things like this. It gets pretty nuts pretty quickly. And then there's a lot of matchups where it's just like, hey, red was a little fast. You're kind of in burn range. Like, what are we going to do? Like that last game. Well, I'm just going to play a Herald. It's best of 1. Sometimes playing a card like this, it's like a Platinum Angel, for example. Like, sometimes people just can't answer it. Is this card the best of all time? No. Like, you can play a Hornlock Whale here if you'd like. But for me, I kind of just wanted to try this out. I think it's a good card overall. Definitely more of a commander card, if you were to say. But yeah, just like randomly in those spots, just being able to go on your inset, by the way, instead of me playing this burn game with you, I'm going to play this. And if you don't remove it right now, I will hold up all my interaction for everything later, and I'll be able to protect myself. And that's exactly how it went. So other than that, the lands that are important are Demo Field. As you saw, we needed this. I was like looking at it at first. I was like, man, we have a lot of like a double blue, double white. This is kind of close to sketchy. You just might have to be aware of mulling the hands that are a little bit tough. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. I played a little bit of blue-white control finally. Which is nice. I had fun. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.